Okay, welcome back to our 469th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, January 26, 2023. Mr. Kesh, you mentioned you have some special announcements you'd like to make, and I think we're looking forward to that.
Yes, thank you very much. On the dimension of physicality and what we do in commercialization of the technology and application of technology, in working with the doctors and seeing their patients and introducing their new wellness systems and technologies, and the cost of providing these services has created a lot of dilemmas for a lot of people in a way what can be done. I've been aware of this, and in the past few days, even though we lost huge amounts of funds in the past few months trying to expand the technology in the physical dimension, we have secured understanding with certain people, organizations, that the Keshe Foundation, as of today, for a very, very short time, for a number of limited cases, will support the doctors in the financial side. And will provide two things, and that is in small payments by the knowledge seekers. The Keshe Foundation will support through the support we receive on delivery from what we call the backers in that, because we had a small backer who helped us a few weeks ago with 4 cases of Parkinson, and then we went to the big organizations. They are of the same position. They'll support the foundation. A limited number of cases, except coma and cancer, will be looked and will be given the go-ahead to go with the doctors for the process. And the numbers are limited and the time is limited. We have to respond back to our people within a few days that how many cases we have, and they expect a remuneration from the side of the what we call the volunteers for the doctors. We provide the services only through doctors, nothing to do with the Keshe. We are provider of the knowledge. We are not doctors. We are not in the world of medicine. We provide the scientific background to what is to be there. The understanding with our people, sponsors, is that some of the prices you heard is 30, 40,000, some cases much more. Some cases Keshe Foundation subsidize some of the moves. Through what we have, a very few limited numbers, they don't want us to specify. They will accept whatever the knowledge seekers pay to the doctors at a fee of €5,000 for any case, doesn't matter what it is, except cancer and coma. They will accept to cover the rest. Which means if you have Alzheimer's, if you have Parkinson, if you have whatever to go through the doctors, your case will be automatically accepted. And we provide the technology and the know-how to the doctors, and through your doctor, you receive it. Autoimmune system deficiencies, whatever. The reason for it, what they see is that it gives a rapid boost for system to be developed, for technology to be complete, and it will stay in the hand of independent organization like Keshe Foundation. We do not get involved in medicine or health and that kind of things. We provide technology to doctors. They know what to do with it, and how to use it. And there is no limitation as of today for a very, very short time, a few days, because they think if they run it, they will not be able to sustain to support it. Maybe 10, 20 cases, maybe 50 cases, we do not know. But any of you can come up with a 5,000 euro as a donation to your, what do you call it, to your doctors or whatever. In next few days, the foundation will support it through the subsidiary we receive from our people in whatever means they provided to us to support you. So it's not that huge amounts which was asked for a limited number of cases, and we have put no cap on it on the knowledge side, because the reason and the understanding is we have to learn more what we can do, what we cannot do, and this will close in a few days' time. So if you know anyone with any cases, just go through the Keshe Foundation info. We pass it on to the doctors, and the case is accepted. If you can deliver the 5,000 euro to the cases of the doctors immediately, and don't come in, oh, I cannot do this and that. This is a once opportunity we are given, and we deliver it. If it comes to a certain number, you have to understand it has to be subsidized, and there is a certain amount they do. Maybe this is one of opportunity. We had a beautiful pleasure from one of knowledge seekers who went through the processing. He has offered 4 cases to the help of the knowledge seekers, and we have put that out for it. Now, this is a very special case. I've been told not to disclose the numbers, and there is a very time limitation on it, that it doesn't go for weeks, that then they say, oh, you said that. By Sunday tonight, we close the case, which means you have 4 days. Doesn't matter what condition, this will be subsidized to see if we can support through the wellness, through the doctors, and to change the course. Those who have already been going through cannot come back and say, oh, you did this. So this is something to do with a special package by what we've been offered. How many cases we can accept, we do not know. But if you can do and make your payment complete by Sunday night, we can push through the process. It'll be a pleasure for us, because then we can understand it. And the reason for it is that we have more system available to support the doctors. We could not accept this. Now we have more systems. We can expand the numbers, and the doctors will support it. Don't come back to us and tell us this and that. We have received an offer, support. We pass it directly on to you, and you have a very, very few limited time. And the cases from the past still can be considered, but that's up to your doctors, not to us. But the 5,000 euro has to be completed, that they know what finances they put in. This is part of what is the annual accounts of what some companies and some organizations can give for charities, and they can force it through their books. And so if you know people with any condition, where if you come in next week, 2 weeks time to Keshe Foundation, we send it to the doctors and they ask for 20, 30,000. It states you can't say it was 5,000. This is something we received, and we have to go by it, because 31st of March is the closing account of the people who are supporting us, and it has to be put in that framework. So 10 cases, 20 cases, talk, get it done, put it together, and we'll see how we can get it on. You'll get an answer by next Tuesday, Wednesday latest, because we get an answer by Monday. So if it's 10 cases, 20 cases, whatever we submit, we get the approval. We have to prove to them that we received, they have a reason to make that move, and then we'll get subsidized. Somehow we get our funds through different ways of support from them. Please make sure, send everything to, as usual, health@keshe.foundation or info@keshe.foundation, and they will respond to you very rapidly. We ask a couple of people to be in the back to respond to this very rapidly. As you've seen, before it used to take weeks and months before you get a response with the what we call the presentation on 1620. You've seen the rapid response even days before. All the things are in book, ready to go. So if you suffer from any kind of whatever, that you become a knowledge to us, and you can put the 5,000 together to be paid to the doctors, and then it'll go back to what we call it, the process. And within the next few weeks, 2-3 weeks, you'll be called in to take part with the doctors for the process of the processing as it is. The other point of what we call commercialization is that Keshe Foundation plasma power units will go on delivery. And most probably, as I informed, we might call in for what we call Blueprint Day, that you can see the operation of the units. And most probably, I'm still expecting for a message today from our people, as I said before, that will introduce a compact unit. You got to realize Keshe Foundation from now on does not sell units. You buy or you purchase or you come to an agreement with Keshe Foundation, you buy these units on a contractual basis of 150, what's it called, 15 euro per month, or 180 euro per year for 20 years. Means you save 50, 60, 70% electricity or power at home, and you share a small part of it with the foundation that we can run operation. You do the same thing with Apple. You buy Apple, then you buy the apps for it, the contracts for it, to receive what we call the processing. This will stay with us the same. So it doesn't end up that we have to keep on selling units to sustain research. What you buy, you get benefit by it. You pass the benefit to us. And we pass the benefit into research and development, and more things to come. The compact unit, most probably, if it's done, maybe confirmed, completed, will go on sale in the next few hours. And the enhancement power units, which you all put in, will go down from 5,000 to about 3,000 or 3,500, or already has gone in the what we call the Keshe Foundation website. There are two different systems, and they're totally different applications. We have, as I said before, creating more possibilities for developing new systems, new what we call technologies. In the next few weeks, once we complete our test of the what we call the enhancement unit, Keshe Foundation will put out what we call the enhancement communication system, which is actually very much like a headset, and you start communicating in a new way with our systems. Those of you who will come to be the volunteers with the doctors will receive one, or you purchase one through your doctors. And instead of buying these head units and the headphones and the mobile phones, we go through our system, our technology. You don't need a headphone, you don't need a mobile phone. In a way, you live, what I said, the two lives. In the everyday communication, you use your mobile phone, and in expansion of the soul, in feeding yourself, in keeping yourself healthy, in keeping yourself well, you use the other unit. And then gradually you learn, using the new units, how to communicate with your friends, the other ones who have the same system. So knowledge seekers, you get in touch, what we call through the soul, with each other. And this is the new system. It's already on the way of development. We have tested it, it works. The first test was done last Friday in a complete way, where, as I explained, we connected the laboratories to UNO Center without any telephone communication. And we saw the results. And we tested on the flight again on Sunday, and we've seen the result. So the new, what we call communication systems, which now is developed, we use it, we've seen it, it works, will be commercialized as a head unit. So in a way, as you have what you call it, Apple, and you have a Samsung. Now you have a plasma head unit, and you have to see who has the app which you have, which is your headphone, to the others. Somebody in America has one, wants to speak to somebody in Australia. You don't talk, you feel each other's emotion. You understand, you arrange a meeting, you meet with each other, or you do the research together, then you understand, you learn a new language. This is part of the, what I call March, April teaching of the Keshe Foundation. When you're in the space, how do you communicate back with Earth? How do you communicate with your friends and family when you're in the space? It takes a few seconds and few minutes for information to go from here to Saturn. And if you're in another cosmic dimension, it will take you years, as our scientists tell us, 10,000 light years for a message to come. When you have one of these plasma units, it takes you as long as you think you're there. So we start learning, living in the two dimensions, using the two tools. We go for camping, we take woods and we make charcoal. We stay at home, we use gas and microwave. It still does the same job, cooks the same food, but now we have to learn a new method of communication, a new method of understanding and interaction. And these units will be offered on about €2,000 each. Most probably we start advertising for it in the next couple of weeks. Then knowledge seekers around the world, the way you learn to connect with us in this, you learn to connect with each other. Communication, enlightened. You'll find out most probably what I tell you now, you'll come to understand it. You'll talk to the people around you and they tell you you're crazy. You go on the line with your knowledge seekers on the other side. You see, you find somebody who speaks your language. As the knowledge seeker said, I don't have time for the old friends and the old chit chat. So you'll find out, you gradually become man of space. You're linked to the Keshe Foundation in Austria, and you have a feast with us. You dine with the Creator anytime you feel like it. And then we'll bring in the new dimension of technology. As we expect, if everything goes to plan, as things are building up, we will start mobile transportation and transmutation once we complete this side. And then we go to the other side. As our knowledge seeker said, every time we try to test the flight, he carries his passport with him. That when he lands in Linz, he can say he's come from the States and he's here with his ID. This should become a norm. And so we have shown it. You traveled, you met your Creator, you went last week to your, what I call, prophets in what you believe to elevate their soul of physicality, or what called the spirit. And now you have to learn, gradually you can move and go to the next step. In this process, we will bring more and more technologies that you understand step by step. The hopefully new flight enhancement system will be completed this week. And as I said today, this afternoon, we have the first volunteer for space and we have the first volunteer for wellness. And we see the effect of the new technology on both, through the doctors monitoring and through our understanding of the system. You do not need to be here. There is no place that anyone can go and say, this is where I am, or whatever. You can be anywhere in the universe and still benefit connecting to the system. You need knowledge, you come to, and through connection with the other souls, you gain the knowledge. Something which I would like to bring to you, because in the future you will understand, but we put the seed down, is in the universe, like here, you go to Google, you go to knowledge sources, to universities to get access, or to research centers to get access to certain knowledge of virus or whatever, or equipment or whatever. In the universe, we have the same kind of centers where the knowledge of the universe has been gathered. It's a knowledge centers of fields, it's not knowledge centers of books. In coming time, as you understand it, you will understand the app, how to get to it. You understand which fields of universe leads you to which knowledge centers. The information of every piece of the creation in the universe is not somebody collecting it. Because of this strength field gathers there. It's a big difference making a computer and making a memory bank and putting all the information in. Somebody has to do it. If you understand the work of the universe, if you understand the work of the fields, everything which is at the same strength gathers, it connects together. So if you want information about the dimension and the position of a star in the galaxies or in the universe, these are centers which connect this kind of information. Is gathered in the plasma. We teach you how to connect to these centers. There are centers where you want certain strength. You need potassium or you need calcium for your growth or for a certain purpose. You tap into instantaneously. This comes as part of the teaching in the coming time. How in the space you connect to the sources, the centers of the what we call fields, and it's instantaneous. As many knowledge seekers tell us, it was just like a flash. I was on the moon. It was just a flash. I saw something, but it touched, I remember, it touched the soul. And the soul has received the knowledge in that flash. So now you go to supermarkets, you go to the libraries, you go to Google to get information, to get food, to get knowledge. Now you learn as a passenger of universe how to connect to these centers, where is correct, is connected and collected by the balance fields of the universe. How you get into highways of going from one place to another. These are the teachings to come. These are the systems which are getting gradually developed, understood by our knowledge seekers to develop it. I just guide, I give a step by step, and then they build on it, and then the next step, and then the next step. We are reaching a point of understanding. So in the next few days, we give you the systems, which we call it the compact systems. We would like you to leave it on the table near where you sit. Don't look at it that it saves me energy. Look at it, it feeds my soul. It doesn't just give the plug to the electricity to light up the table lamp, to light the room. At the same time, enlightens your knowledge. The new compact system, once we introduce it, is what I was telling you. Look at the fields, not there. And then when you sit in front of it on your table, understand what I looked in the light of the table lamp, and in there is the light where it takes me to the Creator. And going to Creator means enlightenment, means understanding the process of the creation. This is part of, when you do this compact unit, plus what we supply with what we call the new plasma head unit, then you understand the full communication system is up. With it, in a coming time, we'll deliver you the small generators, compact generators, which as a whole allows you to become a new dimension of the life. Independence from the energies of the matter state. where you create energy from inside and then you allow it outside. You don't need to wear a jacket to keep the physicality warm. You create the energy from inside that does not need the jacket. This is how you'll travel in space, but you have to learn it here first before you get there. So a lot of materials we have put in the bags in the past and what comes in the future has been part of this process. And now you're going into very advanced technology space systems, and it's all coming out of one structured Keshe Foundation. We're not sending you somewhere else. It's done by the knowledge seekers, for the knowledge seekers, for the humanity. So, in the new compact system, may be advertised today, and we even start pre-selling the head units, which will be delivered in a few weeks' time. You now start the connection in the next level. You see the light on the table, and you receive the enlightenment from the same system for the soul. Then we teach you the next step. Then we go through the process of the completion of understanding the soul of the man. We have to lay out this part very clearly, that you understand what you're going in and what is the next step. When you have a head unit, when you have a compact unit on the table, and you're sitting in New York, and your friend is in, let's say, Melbourne, you can go to each other for dinner. And you come back. Mom says, would you like something to eat? No, Mom, I'm not hungry. I already had dinner at Melbourne. And then this becomes part of the life. Thou shalt not kill. As the food you had in Melbourne was on the resources of the universe, as you were in the knowledge of the creation. So we go through this process step by step, and as you know, I'm a very good magician and a very good teacher. I know how to hide things and then when to show it. 2023 is the time when man meets the universe. And we have to prepare you. We can't just drop you in the ocean and expect to swim. When we release the compact unit, with it we release the glasses, or what we call the headphones. And then I let something out, which I should have not done. We'll introduce in the coming time a specific plasma glasses that allows you to see in the dimension of physicality the soul of the passengers of the universe, if you wish so. This will allow you to interact, create the inertia in the position of their existence, not man's gravitational magnetic field of the earth. It's a highly technical system. We sent this out as vision glasses a couple of years ago. And when I read the report, people sending some information back, it allowed me to see how it needs to be done to become practical for you lot. So you see, everything we do has a step jump, and you'll come through. And it comes to a point of what we call, when you understand, we gave you the magnets you haven't understood for 7 years now, nearly 6-7 years. And now we use the same fields to do what is needed to be done. On the other hand, I was with our doctors in the meeting with some of their, what we call, patients. And the gentleman most probably listening to is a knowledge seeker. He has a damage, he has a hip replacement, he's got damage, what do you call it, joints and whatever, and knees, and cartilage damage and whatever age come to it. And I explained to him, we have this material for what do you call it, allowing the body to be processed as part of the Keshe Foundation. It has to go through your doctors. But Keshe Foundation can, and from today, most probably again later on today, will introduce a gas called knee. Read the instruction on it. And the same as you use for the pain pads, use this to add to a pad to your knee. You make your own pain pad. And use it for maybe 4 or 5 nights on your knee or your joint, back in the front, so you know the process, and mix whatever else you think you want to mix with it. You just create a base for it. And don't use it more than 7 days. And take it off. Only use it at night when you're asleep. Let the patches to be on. And see how the cartilage regeneration, or that what we call all the ligaments regeneration will come. If your pain disappears or reduces, then leave it for a week and then use it another few nights. And because nighttime is when you don't use your joints so much, it allows the building up of the cartilage and everything else. And then use it sporadically as you need it. And I explained to him it's very expensive, but overnight I thought maybe it's time to let this go. This is part, I told him, I have 2,000-3,000 different ganses which man doesn't even can imagine exist. And we put this on sale just on knee. And I put it's an expensive thing to do, and it takes time to produce. We have a very limited amount of it. I built initially, if you remember, Mahnan said, I dreamt you had a problem. I explained to her, yes, I have a joint problem. I remedied it that way very quickly. It's just that I don't even get time to heal myself from the pain of my body. And I go through the processing when I get a time. And it's gone. It is not existing. And it all came back because from childhood, the structure of my body, I have a loose kneecap. And for the first time in 60 years, my kneecap has locked itself to the position that even my pain is gone. So this knowledge is with us, and I put it into the Keshe Foundation. The value of it up to that €500 bottle. When you receive it, as usual, don't use the gas, use the water, and you can order it maybe from today, tomorrow. It's again limited amounts. I cannot, because I have to produce it myself. I don't have the time for it. So those of you who have knee problem, cartilage problem, loose ligaments or whatever, try it. It's not sold as a medicine, it's sold as a gas, which you have to develop yourself as a patch to use it. It's like a CO2 and the rest of it. You have to find an application for it. And don't use it more than 7 days, because if the cartilages grow too much, then you have a problem if your ligament grows so much and then it solidifies. So use it for 7 nights, leave it and see what the improvement you see. Let us know. This is a research development. I put it as a research. It's enclosed as a research development, is clinical trials. It works for me. I have seen the benefit of it. Now you put it as a trial clinical, and you have to report back on it, how you felt, what it was, and then we'll make the systems which you go into it. You don't need the gases. So we gave you an insight into 4 or 5 new products of the Keshe Foundation. I think many of you suffer with this knee and joint problem. Try it. It'll go on sale most probably today from the Keshe Foundation as a research development. Is not the products as any other purpose. You have to report back on it to us and see how it is that we can develop it in the future as product. You will get the what we call the head units, which will go on sale maybe today, tomorrow. We do the same with the compact units, and we will do the same with other products which will come up. They offer for any diseases across the planet except cancer and coma, with the support of our, what we call supporters at €5,000 has to be completed by Friday night. If you have made a payment or you make a payment, send a copy to the Keshe Foundation and we can forward to the doctors that they accept the case and we go forward. So we brought a new step in commercializing the technology for the physical dimension, and the new set of the systems plus your head unit, it starts gradually introducing to a new world of communication, new world of knowledge gaining. You'll be very interested, it'll be very, very interesting to see if you're looking for a knowledge in the world of medicine for, let's say, heart operation or disease with the heart or how it can be helped. And we have another knowledge seeker who's a heart surgeon, and how you connect to each other. And through his knowledge, not only you gain the knowledge, you receive what it needs for your heart to remedy through his knowledge. This is the extent of this technology will go. So you find out the doctors will not put the headphone on, or what we call the plasma unit on, because if you come to him, he cannot refuse. And if he's here to serve man, he will do with you, or somebody comes to him, I need this. You don't need a open heart surgery. I know how to do it through my soul. I can repair your head, your heart. You buy a head unit and you use it, and you connect to the soul of the heart surgeon. These are the new technologies which in a few years' time will become as common as the mobile phone today. But in the next few weeks, Keshe Foundation will start introducing, we put these up for, what do you call it, commercialization as of next 24 hours. And then we build on it to the next step. Now we go to the, if you have any questions that we can answer, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. I'll remind our attendees here, you can raise your virtual hands and then we can open your microphone for you. Let me see here. A question in YouTube from I Am. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for being. What becomes of the man who leaves this dimension with no knowledge of his creation? What has happened to all the souls who know nothing of transmutation? Where are they?
The soul knows that's where they're transmuted to. As I always said, Earth is a nursery where it creates that seed, that bulb. And it takes you buy it, and then you plant it, you water it, and then it gives you that flower. I was in Amsterdam a few days for work of the Keshe Foundation, and I love Amsterdam because it doesn't matter, whenever you pass through the airport, they have tulips. And people from all over the world going through Amsterdam buy these onions or the tulips to take it to their nation or to their country or to their home, doesn't matter. And Earth is that flower shop. Is that nursery where the flower shop gets its flowers and its onions. It's a seed where it plants the seed of the soul of the man, which needs that little ignition to start a cycle. As I said in the past, to get to feel the strength to come together in a space takes billions of years, and especially for them to become a plasma, where now the soul of the man, through the life of the man, 50, 60, 100 years on this planet, creates that seed. Now you just need to let it loose. And then those fields in the universe which were coming to become the seed of this something to start, already have the onions, or what we call the seed of the soul, for it to grow. If you go to Scotland, they do what we call shrimp seeds, 1 day shrimp or 3 day shrimp. The people who are in the shrimp world, they go to Scotland and they buy 1 day old shrimp. And they take it to Africa and then they let it grow. Where in Africa, for them to grow that, there's no facilities. So it's the same. The universe has the earth as the seed for that to be faster to create the next generation. You have to understand the light of, the knowledge of, the essence of the creation of the Creator is so fast, and is so vast in its vastness that it needs it to find a point of control, amalgamation and creation. And the soul of man is that greenhouse. Sometimes when I hear the scientists talk about the greenhouse effect and the earth is getting hotter or whatever, I laugh. I said, God created this greenhouse to create the soul of the man. What the hell are these people talking about? So this is why when you build a greenhouse, when you put the flowers and the plants in it, you go and check to see how beautiful they are, how they are growing. If there is any infection, if there is any diseases, you correct it. And this greenhouse called Earth gets visited by the Creator to see what it needs to be done, how it needs to be corrected, how you get the disease of killing and everything else out of the man. And then he sends what we call the gardeners, the teachers, to polish it, to perfect it, that goes out as a perfect seed. And that's our job. So the earth is that nursery. And the Creator loves this nursery because it was created by Mitra. And is looked after by his love and needed to be corrected and be perfected. And now it reaches that point which reflects his true essence of love. When you buy a flower from a florist, you will feed 2 things. If he sells you a flower he bought from a market, a plant, he just gives it to you. But if it's a plant which he grew and he sells it to you, he gives you love, information, and love about that because it's part of him. So it's the same with the man. The soul created on this planet is done, touched by the love of Mitra, and God has hand in it. And he has to be perfect. So when it goes out in the universe, it becomes a perfect tulips. And 1 lip of Creator and 1 lip of Mitra. When they kiss, it creates a new life. Any other question?
Okay, thank you. We have Carlos Eduardo in the Q&A. Good morning, Mr. Keshe and all seekers of knowledge. Emotion in Vertical Beings, Knowledge Seekers, 207th Knowledge Seekers Workshop at 1 hour, 35 minutes. He has a quote here from that, apparently. Vertical beings change their colors, life cycle, and their shapes. because for the first time, if you understand this, you understand that vertical people have emotion. Emotion is the confirmation of existence in guaranteeing its existence. To vertical people teaches us about give and take, and that this process is the same with everything in the universe. And the quote is, the assessment of what you can take should be considered first to get what you need and what you can give. So the question is, man has not yet progressed in this learning with vertical people. Could you guide us better in this learning with the vertical beings? We appreciate your guidance.
The essence of accommodating is the essence of the creation. How you accommodate and how you create in that position. Vertical people have chosen to stay put, and staying put means you don't expect, but you chose a place that allows you not to do anything else but to enjoy the environment. You don't need to care for it. You don't need to reach out to destroy something. And they receive the energy, what they need in the environment, the cluster they have created around themselves. And then that allows what we call as part of the ethos of Mitra. And what I introduced today, the compact unit and the what we call the plasma head unit, is part of that process which has started. Is part of that process that I exist, I live, I sit in one place called Earth or my table. I carry my plasma headphone with me. My unit is sitting on my table in my house. And I go to New York and I don't need to kill because I'm in New York to eat something. I'm connected to my unit. It's the expansion of the room, expansion of the environment. I go to another dimension, another planet. I don't need to kill because I already learned to access the universal energy. That head unit in my house has become the center of energy units in the universe. When you look at the plant, a vertical plant being, it doesn't grow in one place, but it grows in another because it connects to the field of that center where it can survive without doing anything else. And this is what we got to learn, how to tap into the universal energies. And this, what I call compact units, are interim system till you learn gradually that you don't even need the unit or the plasma head unit for it. Because your soul expands and it learns, and then gradually, as it brought part of your physicality into itself and it works, now it brings the systems which you put on the table on your head as part of the system inside it, and it learns how to do. It's part of the learning of the expansion of the soul from the center to the head unit, from the head unit to the table, and then from the table to the universe. You cannot get a marathon runner out of the man who doesn't even know how to walk unless you teach him. And now we are going through that process of teaching. I don't know how to explain it, but in a part of communication, understanding, or enlightenment, whatever you want to call it, discussion was how did man suddenly became to this position that us spending millions of years developing these machineries, crossing the universes, could not understand. What did we miss that the humans did not? I said, one thing you missed, it was the love of the creator. You should have managed, you should have found out how to attract Mitra. You would have received the flower. In human race, the planet Earth, knew how to see this, how to put the seed of love. And that's your beauty. You lowered the creator to the beauty of the planet. And the rest is history. When you lower the creator, you start receiving it, but at the same time, you had the time to put things wrong, which went during the wild time of what we call it, the Wild West, or during the time of the creation of this planet. Any other question?
Okay, we have a question from Lynn in the Q&A. I'm not sure why she's not asking it personally, but here we go. Hello, Mr. Keshe. In the last teaching, you further explained reincarnation. No individual soul is reincarnated, but part of one's own information field will continue to interact with the environment at the time of death, creating a new individual soul. I would like to know more details about the newly created souls, namely, how many old souls does the information field of the new individual soul generally come from? Do the talents of the new soul, such as musical talent, emotional patterns, such as fear of the dark, belief patterns, such as believing in the existence of aliens since childhood, etc., come from the old soul? Is the wish of a new soul, such as Mr. Keshe, or wish to take humanity to understand the soul and the principles of creation into the vastness and the vastness of deep space, a continuation of the wishes of the old soul of the past? And finally, do the old souls separate themselves and become part of several new souls? Hope to help us sort it out further. Thank you.
Who's this from?
Ruthie Lynn.
Ruthie. Oh, Wang Lin. She's traveling. I know why she's written this. She's in teaching somewhere. You got to understand, when you reach the dimension of the soul, there is no old soul and new soul. You have access to all the knowledge of all the souls. So just because you are born today does not mean you're a new soul, as your soul is connected to all the souls. So you're a new storage capacity, but with access and connection to all the storage capacities, the capacitors of the before. Terminology of the old and new, when you understand the totality of creation, is meaningless. There is no time and space, because once your creature is in the womb of the mother, you have access to the totality of the knowledge of the creation, even to the creator. None of you who came in touch with the soul of the creator on the 16th were brought and trained and the rest of it. You were part of it at the inception in the womb of the mother. So the terminology of old and new is a man's lack of understanding of the creation. And as I said a couple of times today, once you become a plasma, it's a full spectrum of the whole. You have access to whole of the knowledge of the universe. It's just man who chooses to ignore it. Because you don't need it on this planet. You got the cows, you chose to eat them. You had the water, you chose to drink it. So you didn't went out to look what other sources of energies are in the universe. The laziness of the man brought man to be a killer, where the soul doesn't kill. Most probably the soul of the pig you ate fed or shared knowledge with your soul when it was alive as a soul. But your soul didn't kill it to gain the knowledge. Go back to the teaching of some times ago. And I said, everything your forefathers have done is recorded and is becoming knowledge and is there in your soul. Your forefathers doesn't come to be your great-great-grandfather. It comes to be the soul of the creation. As much as you have access to soul of your great-grandfather, you have access to soul of the creator and the creation. And the beauty of it is, now if you understand it, as man is a gadget man, you can make a system to create those fields, to match, to get access to bring back. You can create a plasma of the knowledge of the roots of the travel in the universe, and then you open the agency. You can have the knowledge of the travel to any point in the universe, and you put the placard outside there, and people who want to go to planet zip zip zip, they come to, I want to go to planet zip zip zip, and then say, oh, this is the strength you need, and you're instantaneously there. This understanding which what brings the enlightenment. And once you're enlightened, you don't need anything else. By the way, as Lenin's here, this week, on the 22nd, has been the Chinese New Year. We give you all the best wishes and one of the most prosperous time in the time of the rabbit here. And I think it'll be a year where the humanity will do the, what I call the leap, like a rabbit, and we gain the knowledge. I wish you all, Chinese knowledge seekers, a prosperous and wealthy New Year. Any other question?
Okay, we have a note in the chat that Zena has a question. I'm open
Hello, everybody.
the microphone. Hello, go
Hello,
ahead.
Mr. Katz. Hello, Rick. Hello, everybody. It's Mernaz. You see,
The spy from Iran. Are you still in Tehran?
Yes, sir.
They won't let you go, huh?
Well, I'm drinking tea with saffron, and I'm thinking of you. And I'm thanking you because I just got the internet a few seconds before you make your name, you put my name. So that's a good sign for me. I am so excited about internet. I can listen. And I just wanted to report my results with 20th of January. It was kind of more than I could expect. And for those who didn't feel anything, I think they had to work before on themselves and just give peace. And I think that's why I really, really, really had a fantastic result that it shows, it sounds for people around me. And I just wanted to thank you very much for giving us opportunity to practice this kind of exercises. And I wish you all the best lucks to go on that we can use and we can let others use. And I got your program late, but I will listen after that. And that's my fourth dimension. When I listen to your teachings, the solutions are give a lot of hope, a lot of hope. I always talk to people around me. People believe me. And so I hope everything is fine, that you come that you come and bring your technology because people really know that there is no other solution but the solution like yours, which is clean, which is just, which is equal, which has place for everybody, every race, every religion in it. And just everything is ready, I hope, from our side. And then it's your side and the Universal Council decision. Thank you for being here. We are honored to have you here. And we wish you all the best of health, success, and happiness.
Very much enjoy the beautiful winter in Iran.
Thank you for your encouragement. Yeah, it's dry and it's very agreeable to walk. It's not humid in here. So, and people are very polite, very calm. No noise in the bus, in the metro. It's amazing. It's just a miracle. These people so polite and so wise. Sometimes every few days I notice a person who is so philosophically wonderful, and they don't show it. They don't. I really enjoy this part of this trip, and I learned also.
When are you going back to France?
I have no idea.
No idea. I think you're just about enough there to stay for the new year.
I have no idea, honestly.
Okay. Enjoy it.
I love New Year. Where is New Year's finished? Oh, which New Year? Oh, New Year Farsi. Oh, I hope not, because I like to go back home, but it's okay. I have to be here. I'm here. I really thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much indeed. Any other question?
Yes, we've got a couple more questions here. From Jefferson in the Q&A. Good morning, Mr. Kesh. My name is Jefferson Modesto. I'm from Brazil. Thank you very much for your presence among us. I was present at the Soul Plasma Flight experience on the 16th of December 2022, and also on the 20th of January 2023, held by the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And I am very interested in learning more about this technology and how my soul can interact and evolve with its help. My question is, do people who participated in these events have any kind of connection with the flight improvement units in Linz?
Can you repeat that, please?
Do people who participated in these events have any kind of connection with the flight improvement units in Linz? I think he means flight enhancement units.
Yes.
If so, is this connection made through the cell phone, or does it not depend on that device?
With people who are sick, you all use your headphone. That's how you connect it. But in the 20th session, between the lab, which is the backup generator of the new structure, is wireless, is what we call plasma connection. It's a new technology. I think when we start putting these new plasma head units and you receive it, you will see the experience will be totally different than when you use the head. When you use the head units like the mobile phone, you reach in the dimension of physicality to get to the soul, where with the plasma units, there's no conversion into matter state. It'll be a totally different experience. And we know that because one of our team actually sat in the system and watched the monitor. And I couldn't tell him that you're watching no man communication system in connection between the plasma and the creator. It shows different, it interacts different. And in the 20th teaching, on what I call the 20th of January teaching, those of you who were with us, we announced it afterwards because the process was set, planned, and monitored and recorded when the soul of Mitra and the soul of child of Mitra came in. We recorded it, and it's a very, very clear interaction for those 10 minutes. And as I explained to the knowledge seekers who were present during the 20th session, I stay with a mobile phone in connection with you as knowledge seekers and our control system. But I do not ever interfere through the soul. I never come in to interact. And I informed our people in the background that in such a minute, I go through the soul. And immediately we saw the response. I'm very clear about the two distinct positions I carry. One as a human and one as a teacher. And even it was in the process with the interaction when there was a presence of the knowledge seekers interacting with Christ or Moses. We carry that strength, and for the first time is physically recorded. And this is all getting piled up as a report by the people who are in the background, that in the future we release this in the exact detail. It's all marked when and how. We brought in Mitra and the soul of the child of Mitra once before in the session, and we watched. And then I informed the background that they are present at this time, can you record? And we see the change. Is physically recorded, and you see the change, in the same as you interacted with the soul of the creator, we see it. And then when the soul of the teacher came in, we again see it. We can release it, the data, the graphs are available. We explained that in the 20th session. So everything is there. It's just that, as once my sister said to me, I watched it downloading. We can download the knowledge to every soul of the man, but the man will still have that bit of ingrained killing and destruction in it. And that can ruin the rest of what is there. So we have the knowledge, we can do that. And we take it to the next step. It's you who's not ready. The table is set. It'll be interesting, those of you who register for the Dining with the Creator, how you will react after it. How the eating pattern of you will change. How you look at the consumption of the energies. How you'll affect the others around you. Doesn't become like because you become vegetarian, Mom, I become vegetarian, you don't cook meat. In this process, because it's through elevation of the soul, you elevate the others. You see the response in the others without speaking, because the interaction comes through interaction of the soul. Any other question?
Jefferson goes on to say, I constantly use a nano-coated loop on my cell phone, but I removed this loop on the day of the event. Does using this loop after the event prevent this connection from being made? Should I stop using this loop if I want to stay connected to the flight
I use it all
units?
the time. With our phones, is always there constantly. These are a matter state. The state of the strength of the soul is much higher. It doesn't interfere with it. I can build you a system which will interfere with your soul. Then you put it in the back of your phone, then you get your interference. We showed that in the 16th teaching. There was so much noise in the background that everybody was complaining about. But when it came to join the soul of the Creator, background noise was irrelevant, because the strength of the soul is totally different. Any other question?
Okay, we have a question from Saeed next here. Says, can the Magrav plasmatic energy enhance or amplify the non-electromagnetic energies of radionic machines? And he mentions
They're
actually
all part of the
associated.
spectrum. They're all part of the spectrum of the magnetic field. And if your system happens to be at their strength, they interfere. Always remember the dog whistle. If you understand the principle behind it, if you comprehend the knowledge of it in a way you put it. You blow a whistle, us humans, none of them hear, but the dog responds. It's the same with the knowledge. It's the same interaction of the field of everything. The magnetic field of the strength, full spectrum, is always there. It depends if you are matured, or if you have the equipment, or you're keyed up, geared up, built up to receive that strength. Whenever you have such a question to ask yourself, remember the dog whistle. It's a whistle, you see it getting blown, but we don't hear it, but the dog responds, because it's the right strength. So is the soul of the man. So is the enlightenment. If you change the structure of the ear of the man, you will hear the dog whistle too. So you become enlightened to the voice, to the noise of the dog. I asked this question once before. Maybe now you might understand. Maybe now you could answer it. If you remember, I've explained that the time of the departure of the soul of the man from the physicality, tearing through the whole field, because it's not in a ray, it's in a plasma which literally explodes out of the body at the time of death. Scientists have measured the explosion of the living is around about 18 Hiroshima bombs. If we understand this, if we understand the field strength behind it, then the same as the dog. If the dog hears the noise we don't hear, so is we don't hear the communication line of our soul. Even that whistle goes all the time, which in the dimension of physicality, we don't see it, but sometime in the line of communication, we register some of it, we call it a dream. Even while I'm talking to you, you're listening to me, you're concentrated here, you see the light, your eyes closed in the middle of the night, or you're sitting in the sun, on the beach, or some of you are up to, and many other things. Your soul is still communicating with the grandma, with God knows where it's going and what it's been doing, but you're not aware of it. It's like that dog whistle. We have chosen to ignore it because otherwise we wouldn't get to do anything. We won't have the physical life the way we have concentrated, only listen to 5 senses instead of the rest. We ignore the rest till the time comes when it's the death, then we listen to the soul. This is what we chosen. We chosen not to hear the dog whistle because we ignore that frequency, even though it's in our body to absorb it. We can pick it up. We have it in us to pick it up. We have chosen certain fields connected to emotion and physical interaction, and we block the rest out, even though the rest exists. And now we are opening it the other way around. See through the interaction of the fields of your soul, you call it the eye of the soul, and then see what else comes with it. And this is where we're bringing them out. Just because you ignore it does not mean it doesn't exist. Just because you ignored that bandwidth in your ear not to hear the whistle that the dog does, then doesn't mean it doesn't exist. How come the dog responds? But the interesting point is, if the dog hears that noise and responds to it, how does the soul of the dog interacts with the other things that we don't hear because it is in own element? Another dog does, but not the human. Another dog knows this emotion means ranking, that this emotion means hunger, this emotion means something else. This emotion means fear. But in our system, that emotion doesn't exist because we ignored it. This is not the strength we use, even though it's there. We are not tuned into it. It's like when you go to America, you have thousands of channels, television channels. You choose to be on one channel. Doesn't mean the others don't exist till you go into it. They're all there. You choose where to interact or watch. And exactly, it's the life of them. We can tap in, not just at the point of death, at any time, to all the fields of the universe. Many humans have done it in the past. It's not the first. Now we put it in a physical system that you all can go in the physical system. It's in your brain. We have it. You do it. And you've seen this one. You came to Linz. We told you to go to the moon. All of you, the ones instantaneously. And some of you, I don't want to travel. I just wanted to go and see my grandpa and when not to see. So you have a control over it. You don't want to do it. You don't want to go to the moon. Any other question?
I have a question from Henry Peter in the chat here. Why is the MagRav so expensive, even though the MagRav's components are so simple? I am from Indonesia.
Yeah, this gentleman has been trying to get hold of MagRav to mass produce it for his own commercial use. And if it is, you make it, you decide to do it. We had this interaction with this gentleman. Give it to me, it's so expensive, I understand, I use it, and then I can commercialize it to my own benefit, to what I want to do, and to give to other people some of it. We understand that if it is, we're giving the knowledge to you, but the knowledge comes at the expenses. When we make the MagRavs, would you like to pay thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of expenses Keshe Foundation go through every day? No. How many of you been on this knowledge seekers teachings for past 10 years? How many of you will come to centers? How many of you have used the technology, the Ganses or whatever, and put anything back into the foundation? We saw the Italians, they came to steal and they stole, but what they stole, there was a crumbs, go nowhere. Every day, even during the, we can give you the cost per hour for Keshe Foundation. Which one of you pays for it? And when we ask for a support, oh, they can do it. Don't make gold, get something else done, whatever. No. This, just to keep this program going, even though a lot of volunteers help back in the back, they get supported by the others and themselves. It costs the foundation thousands every month. Just to keep the internet structure of the Keshe Foundation going, it costs about 25,000 a month. Which one of you help? Which one of you send us 25,000? This is just the structure of the internet, back support and all the expenses of it. We pay thousands every month just for servers. We don't own it. All the backup, Microsoft, Google, God knows, Amazon. The bills come up. You don't pay 1 month, you don't have services. You pay through the cost of the MagRavs to keep the structure going. The DIN center costs tens of thousands every month. How much do you pay? Have any of you come and say 200,000, 100,000, I pay for 1 month expenses of the foundation? No. You complain when we cover our expenses in things. You are thieves, not us. We produce, we operate you, you like it, you pay it, it allows us to run. You are thieves by nature, and you ask the question why it's so expensive. Because you're used to stealing in your habit. Just come and see, we pay hundreds of thousands every month just to keep the Keshe Foundation going all around the world. And I've done it for 20 years. And we saw it. We asked the help from you. Some of you helped. We lost through fraud. Some of you came back. Doesn't matter, you made a mistake. We want our money back. We pay, we'll find, we develop, we are a structured dynamic, but we've seen it. When we can't come and put something and take more, when is the problem is yours. We are men, we are not ladies like you, Craig. Divine solution. Then you know why it's expensive. We gave it to you, make it yourself. You don't need us. How many of you made the MagRavs and you say it doesn't work? We sell the new units, the compact units, the energy unit, plasma energy unit. We guarantee 30% minimum. If it doesn't, send it back to us. We come and sit with you. and watch. If you get 80%, pay back some of it. No, there's benefit in my pocket. As a knowledge seeker told me in Italy, when we were walking for dinner, he said, we became a universal council to get people to buy our products. We have no interest in Keshe Foundation. Any other question?
Okay, we have, you mentioned the compact unit. Gerard in the Q&A has a question. Do the compact units replace the power enhancement combined plasma generator electric gas?
Not really, no. These compact units, I developed it deliberately for the next phase of space, what they call it, the space development. The compact units are tabletop. And even though they give you something on the generation, is essential part of the next space development. We explain more and more the use of them. And very powerful. They've been built in a very special way, and they what do you call it? They create that condition for the next generation of space travel. In a way, if you look at it, we bring you into the system, into LENS. Now with the compact system, you take it from home. You don't need to travel. It's part of the mobile system transportation when you decide you don't need the link center, even though it'll be connected to us here. We are dissipating the knowledge and technology through knowledge seekers around the world. And this is part of it. If you remember when we put the first MAGRAV unit, one of the knowledge seekers opened it up and he went through it and put every picture, how this one swung this one, how they placed that one, how we cut the MAGRAV open and see what's inside it. Has any of you benefited by it? Some of you will do the same, but you won't understand it. And the beauty of it is once you do it, you lose the knowledge. It's very, very interesting. These things carried with the soul of knowledge, and you have not understood. You still, thou shalt still. In a way, you don't receive it, you already stole it from yourself. And yes, the compact units are the part of the next space development, but you're still looking at the energy side of it, so God be with you. Any other question?
From Farzam in the chat says, hello, Rick and Mr. Keshe. Last Friday, I felt like someone was pulling my big toes to lift my legs. And you said that today can you explain it for me? And I saw a shiny orange color in Prophet Moses section and bright green in the Jesus section and bright white in the Prophet Muhammad. And after that, I saw a shiny magenta color.
A lot of you interact with the soul of the creators. And the way you have perceived the position of the prophets of the past. In reality, you should see all the prophets the same color. When you see different color, as I said in the teaching before, when you travel the span of the universe, with the interaction of your soul with the soul of who is what is in front of you, you know their intention because it's the same color. Doesn't matter where you go, the souls are of the same strength. Then you understand when you see the different prophets as different color, not only one is of the recognition of them who they are, but in essence they should be all the same color. It was the same soul. You touch my soul, so you see me that way. You touch the soul of my physicality, you see me different. Then it's my physical intention towards you. I love you, I want to be with you, but in the soul is the same. When you see in the color of the man a goldish color in the soul, is the time when you see the soul of purity. Is how our soul said. White is a sign of clarity. We see clearly. When you see gold, is what we recognize as totality. And this is what you shall see. When you see in the call, the aura of gold, you have touched the soul of the Creator. The white is the interaction, purity of intention. And then how you see different colors is a perception of your emotion in respect to, or the interaction of. If you were not educated, you were not put in a position of different faith according to your own faith path of belief, you should have seen all the prophets the same. But the intention was to interact with the soul of physicality, the spirit of the prophets. So different colors showed you different intention and understanding of who they are, what their intention was. And the one which is more favorable with you, you don't see no fault with it. So you see that's the brighter side. So you can see very simply what you said, your emotion interaction with your soul and the soul of physicality and the other soul of physicality. If they would have made the same picture as your prophet with the other prophets, you would have seen them all the same color in the dimension of the soul. But you decided, or because of your background, understanding, even you could be a Jew and see Muhammad as a bright light and you Moses as a red or green, is what your soul has a perception of in respect to the dimension of physicality. Muhammad waged war on humanity, and how many people him and his followers killed, and they're still killing on the name of Islam. Hasn't stopped. How did Moses did the same? He even waged war on the people who brought him up. In the dimension of solar physicality. How come you see one in one color and the other one in a different color? It's the perception of the emotion of the soul, what I want to see because what I believe to be. Any other question?
Okay, wait, we have a couple of hands up here, but perhaps you can answer the question from Nick first here in our Q&A. Hello, Mr. Kesh. Will you or could you repeat what we did on the 20th to elevate the messengers and to connect with the Creator? Thanks, Nick from Sydney, Australia.
What you did, if you were in the session, is you made it available for them to take. That's all it is. You cannot force it. You cannot take the horse to the water and force it to drink. And if you or any of you in that session created or were at the strength of their need, they have received. So you have added to, and that adding gives elevation, that it brings it out of that state of killing. And the soul of the spirit of the prophets is what it communicates with their followers, not their soul. The followers are in the dimension of physicality. So it's the spirit of man which interacts with the spirit of the messenger, not the soul of the man which interacts with the soul of the messenger. Otherwise, man would have been perfect. And when you elevate one plasma from you, when that goes higher, understands, realizes, evolves, and elevates in understanding of what it was done was wrong and will not be done, so does the spirit of the Ayatollah Khamenei of you. When you elevate the soul of the Muhammad. The soul is with the Jews. The Jewish people would not kill. So shall be with the Christians. This is the beauty of something a lot of you don't, maybe have never understood. And that is, you call it the Old Testament and the New Testament, adding to a little bit of the past. So in fact, what we see, the killing in the Christian communities like Americans, British, and the rest of it, is still based on the rules of Moses. When you elevate the structure of the soul of the Moses in the spirit side and Christ, then you see the change in the two communities. Even you give and elevate the soul of the physicality, spirit of the, what do you call, Moses, will affect the Christians because it's part of them. And this is why we see this position. You call it the Old Testament and the New Testament. But it's the same principle, it's the same message. The other one is done, the other one is written by what we wanted to add to make it to be. But in fact, it's the same one. And when you elevate the soul of physicality of the Moses, you elevate the soul of the physicality of the Christians too, because it's the same, came from them. Same blood, where Muhammad was also a different tribe. Then you understand what happened on Friday. And how you connected, how you elevate, how you interacted. And I heard some people saying, oh, I saw no light, means that you were not at the strength which they are, that you could add to. But it was so rapid that you did not even feel it because you were looking for the light. But look, a few days later, what enlightenment you received, what emotion from Moses or Jesus or Muhammad you received in response and giving to them. Did you understood something more? Was that the gift of thank you in elevating me? You got to understand, billion plus, some of them on a regular basis give from their soul to Christ, but nothing has happened. Man become worse in killing. Millions of Jews go to synagogue and pray at home and bang their heads against the Great Wall and in the name of Moses, but nothing has changed. And the same is with the Muslims, and the same with the Buddhists, and the same with the others. Because you have not found the, what I call frequency, the strength of the prophets to elevate. They're still in the doldrum of their time. And you got to remember on the dimension of physicality, what the murders they've done. If you go back to what I said about Hitler, then what I said about the Pope, in views of children, the soul is so low that nothing can raise them. It's the first time we have allowed that to happen, to raise the soul of the physicality of these who carried so much heinous crimes. You gave, it was like that dog whistle. It just passed. They didn't hear it. They can't receive it. It's too high for them. The soul is elevated. It's at the highest it could be, like yours. But the soul of physicality, God helps. The spirit of these prophets has not even reached the level of yours yet to receive from it. Sometimes the soul of the physicality, the spirit, wishes was at your level. You have killed that. Now you understand why you elevate. You cannot give if you are weaker. Now you understand why we put this process in. You become more intellect, you become more to understand in the time to come. Why do men need to interact with the soul of their, what they believe in, and they can give to? You don't put a crown on top of a crown of a king, do you? But you add the jewels to it to shine better, to be shown to is there. It was made of iron, you put a diamond on it, now has a value. And this is what it is. This is what mankind will come to understand more of. Why did we need to put a session, a process for you to find a path? And one of those paths was to be generous all the time. And we didn't ask you to give it to your son. We didn't say elevate your daughter. We didn't say elevate your dog. Elevate the soul of the physicality of what you believe in, because that becomes your guideline in the path to the Creator. Everything you do in these sessions is way a path, a position to understand, to be enlightened into the working of the universe and the path to the Creator we are part, which you yourself as a soul are part. I am all, and all is me. I'm within, and in a way, because of me being within, I'm in of all. I interact with everything, and what is within me is the same. In the next sessions, as step by step, the elevation of the physicality of the soul of the messengers comes, you'll find out, as much as you are getting ready, they are getting ready, and the whole structure of not only humanity, but the universe and unicos comes to move in the new direction. What you do, you're not aware of in these sessions, is you just don't connect with the soul of the physicality of the prophet. At the same time as your soul is dynamic, it covers every direction of the fields of the universe as a sphere, you have already interacted with the soul of the created things in other dimensions and the other strengths without you knowing. Again, that dog whistle. And this is what the process is, and that's what we are. Any other question?
From Irmgard, where or how to see the light? I have experienced, not in the eyes, but golden and warm light radiating in and from my chest and out into my arms and around me. Is that the right light?
Who says? Is this the position where the soul of physicality and the soul of the man comes in? When you spoke with before, you hold your hand out and you see the light, you can create a light in it. The hand is the soul of physicality, and the soul of the man, when it interacts with that position, creates a light. Maybe you have managed to reach that point. And when you say golden light is a pure light, it's a soul interaction in the dimension of the man. And your heart is part of that process where the interaction of the fields come. The emotion sits within the heart, and the physicality sits within the hand. Years ago, by one of the knowledge seekers, I was told that every time they see my aura, it's only gold color. They don't see anything else. And I said, you don't look deep enough. Because they should see their own soul as a gold color too. And then you understand more about the process of creation and elevation of the knowledge. Any other question?
Well, Irmgard continues, when my memory does not work right, is that because a part of me has resistance? Or if I have trouble with the computer or phone to connect to special sessions, or I don't wake at the right time or sleep through it?
That's the dimension of physicality. We got to live with both. Man has to realize more and more he lives two lives, one in the dimension of physicality and one in the dimension of the universe. And do you need to wake up to listen to the teaching, or do you connect to the soul of the knowledge during the teaching? The universal people don't have a radio and a mobile phone to listen, but they gain the knowledge through the spirit of the elevation sharing. And I've said that many times before. When we teach for the universe, not just for man. Man looks at his physical side, the teaching of the soul which reaches their soul. When I accepted this at the age of 40, I knew the challenges in the physical dimension, the persecutions, the pressures, and everything else. But it was worth, because I achieved everything in a physical life a man could achieve. And then at that point, you become detached. Knowledge seeker wrote to me even this morning. you know, this is costing so much. And I look a few $100. We put in billions, we put a lifetime of thousands of years. Then we see the separation and the value of the man. And you understand, you have to live both sides of the fence. One as a man and one as a teacher. And in the time to come, some of your souls will reach that position and become the teachers. And then what you went through was a cycle of the man will be ingrained in it. You understand how to handle the citizens of the universe who come to that point when you come across them, to bring them into understanding of the totality. Teaching never stops, and the cycle of the evolution of the fields of the creator to create new life will never stop. It's impossibilities. And in that process, there's always a need for teachers. Then do you choose to be a nursery teacher, or do you choose to be a professor in the university and the graduation of the race? Then you decide. I speak to them in the language of the Dudu Gaga, or I speak to them in the algebraic numbers and figures and philosophy. You try to teach algebra to a toddler, you have as much success as you have teaching a cat to do something else. This is the beauty of understanding, and how much you understand is the next level of what they call progressive evaluation and elevation. And the beauty of it is, we are, and I keep on till one day you all understand, we are not religion, we are not another prophet. We are here to show the prophecies, what we made, then done, that brings no hypocrisy in understanding the totality. In the systems we have, you can create the fields, the strength of the soul of any of the prophets of the past. And because you created, you come in touch with them and you can see them, you can understand them. And then you can ask them the questions, why did you do that? Did you need the soul of Mr. So-and-so in Sydney that was just about the right strength, just to bring you to the tipping point that you could now tell your followers, don't kill. Put your crowns, fake crowns down and become like the others. None of you knows at what point, which one of your souls reaches that tipping, or what you call level for elevation of the soul, physical soul or spirit of the messengers of the past, that in tipping, they change the others. The Jews have been banging their head against the wall for how many great walls, how many years? How much Muslims have circled around the black stone, and it's as black as their heart, and the rest of it. How many of Christians have done the pilgrimage walk from one place to another in southern France and northern Spain, and they never pilgrimed anywhere? You need to do that in your soul, and then you find it. And now the technologies shows you what it is, how it is, we can measure it, we can see it. And then it becomes out of theology, it becomes a science, it becomes a knowledge. And knowledge brings elevation. And that's what we do. We created through a system the strength that you could interact with the soul of the creator at a given time, instantaneously, all of you in one go. We didn't see the solar freak above the others or below the others during the time of interaction with the solar creator. It was part of all of the same. And that's a man will learn. Be humble to be the same, and then you become humble enough to understand you don't actually know nothing compared to the knowledge of the creation. Any other question?
Yes, let's allow Dean to go ahead here now. Go ahead, Dean.
Thank you, Rick. Good afternoon, Mr. Kesh. It's now afternoon here.
Yeah, you're 5 past, yeah.
Mr. Kesh, can I ask you a question about, you've gone in very deep today. You touched the soul aspect, and for many people that I've contacted a few people this week, and I know for many of them, it will be brand new information. So they'll be on a physical level, and they are in a world that's in, I don't want to go into great detail about the conditions that are being created or are present in the moment. However, they are unaware of it. So on a soul level, we know that they've touched this knowledge and they received the field strength. Where is the knowledge? Where is the foundation in its present moment with being able to bring this to the masses so that the whole planet receives and starts to interact with this knowledge?
The soul of every man on this planet has come in touch with the knowledge. Because once you share it unconditionally, it's received. The physicality is, the soul of physicality is in the dimension of life which is here. And I always said, it took a few hundred years for Christ to find a number of followers who understood his spirit soul, because he didn't take a sword in his hand. It took a few years with the sword and killing for Muhammad, even though it was a fake life. People still had the statues in the back garden we were praying to. And we saw the same with Moses, and we still see the same with the Buddhists. But in teaching of the technology, physically we see millions of followers in very short time. But as a soul-wise, we have reached the totality of soul of man. So does it matter if CNN decides or BBC decides to talk or show about the Keshwan mission? Not really. We are that candle which burns inside underneath. When the fire will come is irrelevant.
I've noticed, Mr. Kesh, many interactions. I've got many Ganses and many, as you know, tools that I've developed and done through your teachings, and they're all present with me. And I've noticed interactions here. My emotions or my conditions around me have a direct influence. Very small things sometimes, but when you interact on the next level, the small things you notice, and I know that this then escalates up. And so the planet itself, is this still deeply connected to the consciousness of mankind and reacting to the way it's contributing to the field strength at the moment? Does the planet feel this? Is the planet vibrating? Is the planet aware of mankind's intentions?
Something I've said before, and maybe some of you heard before, some of you don't. You have linked in a specific way the whole of planet together as knowledge seekers. It's done in a very subtle way, but is done in a connection with all of you in both dimensions, the physical and the soul level or emotion. And that is, we mine a copper, let's say in Iran. This copper is sold in the international market. It's the same tonnage. It goes, let's say, to China. Chinese have made things from it, bars from it, whatever. And these have been sold across this planet in every country in the world. Some of this has been changed into sheets and wires and whatever, some of them other things in another country, but from the same mine. And you knowledge seekers in different parts of the world have bought part of it, and you made guns of it. And you have it in bottles, and you have it in maglabs, and you have it in all sorts of shapes of forms. So all of you, in one way or another, are all connected to each other now, which you were not aware of. Because once you interacted, understanding the matter state is still as a plasma state, as an atom. So in a way, by getting you to make the GaNs of CO2, the GaNs of zinc, the GaNs of copper, we have made that interaction of you lot together. With the copper in the dimension of physicality, with the zinc in the dimension of the emotion and soul. So maybe for the first time you understand, you lot, you're all connected to each other. The zinc from Zimbabwe or South Africa or somewhere else has traveled the whole planet and in different parts, and some of you have bought different things and some of you didn't have the money to buy the zinc plates, you couldn't get hold of it, or the copper wire you couldn't get hold of, you stripped the wire from the cables of your lamp or whatever, which we know many people did, and it came back from the same source 20 years ago, 50 years ago. So without you knowing, we have connected you all together in a field of strength. Now is for you to become aware of this connection. And for us is to tap into this connection. And we have to start tapping into it.
Mr. Keshe, so many knowledge seekers, we say we're all connected now. So many knowledge seekers will have many different emotional experiences, and some will be experiencing something on the soul level and interacting on that level, and some will still be having the soul of physicality. They will still be having interactions there. And so when we all connect, are we receiving emotions from others that are from the physicality as well as the soul dimension?
Yes, of course you do. You bought the copper line, you bought the zinc plate. What do you expect? You made, of course. You see, I walked you into it, and I walked you all the way around it without you noticing it. I have connected you with everyone in this room. You all bought and you all make answers. Without knowing, I contaminated the love amongst all of you with each other. Now you understand?
Yes, Mr. Kesh. And this process, what does it mean? Where is the point? We know he's going to elevate the humanity. We know
You don't elevate humanity, you enlighten the humanity.
we're going to enlighten humanity. Okay.
It's a big difference. They understand when you make it to understand. When you make it available. When you gift it, and the gift is accepted.
And is that and the gift, Mr. Kesh, is that received by all at once?
It's available.
It's available. Okay.
It's available. You made the gases. You made the gases with the intention to help my pain. You made the gases and you spread around the city, in the lakes and the rivers. You made it available to your physicality, to the soul of physicality. You made it available to the rest of the people. It's them if they're going to take it or not. You can't force it, but it's available if they want to take it. The cycle of what we try to do this afternoon in a very more powerful way by bringing one of the knowledge seekers into LINS. It's not going to happen. We know with chance of it is maybe 5%, 10%. Is developing the full spectrum of the knowledge that our system and our technology allows our knowledge seekers who are building it to understand, to go to the next step. It's a very strange. I sit and look. All the pieces of the jigsaw are on the table in the lab for man to meet the soul of the Creator. But our knowledge seekers have not evolved to understand it. So we are moving pieces here, pieces there. They see a result, then we go to the next step because it's important for them to comprehend. And then we can go to the next step. The evolution in the knowledge is vast. What we achieved with our knowledge seekers in the lab, it'll take tens of years for the most clever professors in the most advanced physics universities to understand. But they're understood by the layman, by the man who has no knowledge. But he got enlightened step by step. He's never even been in the world of physics. And they're building the most advanced space technology of the universe. It's amazing when I look at our lab. We have one man who is knowledgeable, understands, and it took a time for the others, and gradually they're getting enlightened to understanding of the work of the universe. And it's amazing how the process is, how it's developing.
Being that close to the core, Mr. Kesh, those souls that are present there, are they? How are they responding to that?
What do you mean?
How is those souls must be very pure souls to be able to be that close to the core of yourself.
Listen, I have a very bad habit. Has been with me for a long, long time. A very good habit. I'm not a lonely drinker. as you call it in English. Always go with the friends. And you know the English habit, you always get with your friends, pub, the same friends, the same pub. Or you go to another pub afterwards. We come with these souls. We came with these souls.
So these souls, Mr. Kess, that are present and here with you, helping to elevate, enlighten humanity, they become the teachers that move across and teach in other places?
You see, we come with the souls, but sometimes souls get too much entangled in the spirit and life of physicality, and we see them disappearing in a dimension of physicality, but the soul stays for the next cycle. This is the way the life is, and life of progressive life comes from. We come with the souls, and I always said, it's never I, is what we do, it's a we of us come. It's a mission, it's something. Each one comes, does his part and goes away and does another part, and the next one comes. But the cycle of delivering comes with the specific souls we have come with. They are the technicians, these are the people who know how to deliver. And each one has got his own work and his own pattern. And a point will come that they complete their work, and the soul of knowledge and work will leave the spirit of the life. And you see the man back in again. I've seen that in many, I know when the soul has left, I know where I deal with is the man. It's the progressive development. And that's all it is. You know, when you build a house, you get the plumber, you get the bricklayer comes and does the brickwork, and he's finished. Even though he's a friend, he lives next door, he's still a bricklayer, but his time is finished. And then you get a friend who's the next door neighbor who's a plumber. He comes, when he's done plumbing, is finished. There's no use keeping a plumber because just he did the plumbing. You understand?
Yes, I do, Mr. Keshe.
And this is how it is. We came well equipped this time. Well equipped.
So the situation that we have, again, and go back to the physical side, with the conditions that are happening, the enlightenment of the souls of the knowledge seekers is collectively bringing a position that the conditions will elevate across this planet.
Yes, it's not this planet anymore. You're dealing with the plasma, so it's the universe. Up to now, Muhammad could speak to as many people as could hear his voice. So did what they heard went and said to somebody else what they heard. And it became a Chinese whisper. Quran is written 40 years after Muhammad. Some of it's from the first people who heard the voice, and some of it is from Hadith, which was said to be. This time is with the soul. When you speak, all the souls hear the message right across the universe. There is no Chinese whisperers in the middle. Depends what you decide to hear and what you decide to whisper. It's as simple as that. There is no more only people who are here as knowledge seekers, gain the knowledge of today. Every being on this planet at the level of the soul has heard the message. And every being beyond this planet. because it's added to the knowledge of the center, what I explained. So now it's a knowledge and anybody can access it. And the messengers of the future, teachers of the future, will show people or creatures where that reference for this knowledge is. Then they don't need to be Chinese whispering. You want it, is at this strength and such a thing you can do. It's like me teaching you, telling you about shouting and telling you about crying, and then me teaching you how to create that emotion inside you that makes you to tear and show us you're crying.
Mm-hmm.
You have to create that emotion to create that tear.
So will so if this is taking place, if this is the position now, has anybody who's coming forward and has this feel strength, this knowledge, this ability to tap in and be part of it? So anybody can raise themselves and you know, become part of this the beauty instead of something.
Of course, it's just that how you decide, what you decide.
Collectively or singly, Mr. Keshe?
Either way, you cannot force everyone to be what you are. Otherwise, creator would have created one race and would have been all the same copy machines in the rest of the universe. Diversity and the choice of diversity is the beauty of the creation. You are British. You're brought up with the fish and chips and Sunday lunch. You come to Austria, nobody is fish and chips the way you do. And nobody is Sunday lunch the way English do. But you're still an Englishman in New York, as you call it. Has it changed you? Or have you managed to show the beauty of a Sunday lunch with a roast to those who are in Austria and they had a taste of it? Would they choose to have a Sunday lunch again for themselves the same as British do? But would they make it the way you do and not to their flavor? You understand? It's the same. You bring it and they add their own flavor to it. But in essence, it still is a Sunday lunch. When we were deciding to do the February session, dining with the creator, I said, no, but Friday is a very difficult time. People are working. Sundays, most of the places in the Western world, not necessarily in the Islamic world, take a Sunday off. But majority of the nations take a Sunday off. Even some Islamic nations close on Sunday. And so it's a good time to bring people together and put together. And let them eat at peace. And gain the knowledge with peace. But then the February session is one of the colorful ones in the knowledge and science for you lot.
Mr. Kessler, so I wasn't a participant in the last one on the 20th. However, I did have an experience. I don't know if you want me to speak about that, but I definitely felt I led down when it was taking place, and I connected my thoughts and intentions, and I felt I had many experiences with it seemed like images and multidimensional things coming into my thoughts and intentions, into my, you know, on a soul level eye, not on a physical eye. And then I had physical interactions on my body where I had the same interactions I had when I was a participant. So, and in fact, it seemed to be more intense. And I wasn't connected to it with headphones or anything. This time I was just myself as a human being, just led there. But I still definitely felt it, and it was very powerful. It felt very very connected, and it did. The soul connected, but I know the soul of physicality had needed to catch up because it tended to at times, you know, when you completely blank out or become unconscious, I suppose. And then there were other times when I came back, I was very, very conscious and part of it. So it was an interesting experience, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it's just once you connect, you establish. If you know your way, you can always connect. I'm like a little child, knowing he's going to get a new toy, waiting for it to arrive, and knows exactly how you're going to do it. I played with it before, and I want to know if this one toy is the same as the toy I played with before. And that toy is there for this afternoon. Transmutation and transportation has been the life of millions of years. But now let's see if this version of it works today for the humans. And is the excitement the same? Is the maturity of the people who are doing it is the same as the past? I was last night thinking, it was a strange way of thinking things, but you come with the souls who you've done things the same before, they know. You're just going to see if it's as good as before, or this time there's an improvement on it. And waiting for that toy to see if it's upgraded compared to the past, where the last one was made millions of years ago somewhere else, and the upgrade version for human, is it the same as what we done before somewhere else? And this one is delivering what it's supposed to, because last time it wasn't done the right way it was done. So we learned from it is, redesigned and done the way that the users can use it with the right manual. And it's interesting how what we see with a new toy. I've seen it, I've watched it being put together, developed, and done the whole understanding. Now you see the toy to play. And if the system goes to what it is, what it's supposed to do, whoa, you lot got amazing February dining session. Don't forget, I hit something in the 16th, and on the 19th of February session, on Monday, if you look at it, is the pattern of what we are doing in January, February, March, and the rest of it. Addiction. We said the food, and the other part, the travel. So what we set out is what is coming up. Some of you who had the experience, be there. And what will be next? As a knowledge seeker said, I felt the mango, I tasted it, I felt the digestion of it in my system, and I felt not, consuming it, digesting it. And let's see what brings today. And in the future days.
Yeah, I've experienced that myself, Mr. Kesh, with this with the feeding. Yeah, I understand that. I have moments where I suddenly feel very hungry and eat. It's changed. My appetite has changed. It's very strange.
You're eating from ganses in a way, without knowing.
Yeah, I think maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
In the test of the 19th, we did a lot of things in the background to see the interactions. When you come to these sessions, like the 20th, I stay fully alert in and operating and monitoring with our team back in the labs or back everywhere else to monitor things, to see what is the outcome, what's the physicality, what's the behavior of the man, a collective man. Don't forget, on the 20th, we had over 100 races, nationalities, and religions. So it was a best mixture we could get. In the future, you'll have more of. We had 4 passengers of the universe with us on a Friday session. And you could see them jumping. It's part of the structure. We gradually, in the sessions to come, when we have more of the passengers of the universe with us, the behavior changes towards men as well. There was no respect for men before we started to teach. Now man will be respected for the love of the Creator, as he stops all his violence.
Yeah, I wish for that, Mr. Kesh. Thank you very much, Mr. Kesh.
I don't wish, I know.
I know
I
you.
don't wish, I know.
I know.
We'll see what time, how it comes.
Thank you for your beauty, Mr. Kesh. Thank you very much for taking my
You're
questions.
right. I hope I'll see you next week.
Yeah, you will do. Thank you, Mr. Kesh.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Shall we call it a day? It's nearly 12 o'clock, 12:37.
Yeah, there's a few lingering questions, but we can reserve them
What
for
is lingering?
next week.
Let's answer 1 or 2.
Oh, some quick questions maybe you could answer. From Dot in a Circle, can only ash natural nano coating work for MagRev power unit? So can they use the natural ash nano coating process?
They can use anything they like. You can use anything you like. You just create different strength of layers, compactness of them, or what do you call a space gap between them. That's all. It's the same copper. Any other question?
Okay, from Mateo in YouTube, is smoking tobacco a bad thing?
Depends on. What does it do to you? One day I will teach, I will explain about the smoking. And its interaction with the soul of the man. Knowing that the soul of the man sits just on the back of your throat, closer to than your stomach and your heart. What do you do? What energies do you give to your soul on a continuous basis when you smoke? And then, is the smoking a psychosomatic condition? One day I'll teach about this, because we have to do it. And then we'll see if anybody touches it. And so why, with certain gases combination, man stops smoking.
Okay, very good. We look forward to that. Can you answer quickly another question from Dot in the circle? How does one measure the strength of a plasma in a rotating ping pong ball?
You buy a machine, or you create another plasma rotating or solid position to see what condition, what outcome you get, and you start charting it.
Okay.
You have to learn two things. Up to now, all the measuring tools we have is a matter state. The knowledge seekers in the future time, they have to develop technologies which measures the true field of the plastic plasma, not in the matter state, by using plasma itself. Shall we call it a day?
Okay.
Yeah,
very
so
good.
what? So carry on, so what?
Well, I was just going to say, so do we have any equipment, measuring equipment nowadays to do that, or is that for the future?
It's for the future. At the moment, we have developed certain numbers. The initial one, which we set out in a specific way to do in a matter state, took 2 years to develop. And now, one of the best ways for you to understand how to make measurement tools for plasma is use one reference. And for example, make the simplest one, because you're observer of an event. For example, make a gas of CO2, a large amount of it in one go, and keep it totally isolated from any interaction in a given position. And when you want to measure, take a sample of it, put it in a glass, and put it near another gas, and see how it changes color, how it changes the space gap. And if you are precise enough, then you start building measurement tools by the interaction of the fields of gases, and you have a solid, completely always the same reference point in the gas. Does the color changes? Does the space gap changes? Does the other side changes color because now is giving? In time will be made. It's just like, when you go for a driving test and they test you for alcohol, they have a measure of this much alcohol creates such a noise or such a thing. You will establish such a thing with gases, the interaction of the gases. Any other question? Or shall we call it days? 3.5, 4 as we're going. Please, those of you who look at the Keshe Foundation website, we try to get it up today regarding the compact unit, regarding the head unit, and regarding the gases. And those of you who have wellness problems and go back, we'll keep the lines, we monitor all of it. Doesn't matter what condition you suffer from. We received instructions or cooperation to accept, because it adds to our knowledge for the future. And our acceptance that we send this to the doctors for them to analyze, but make sure before you do, everything is there done, that we don't need to come back and, I cannot do this, you do your part. We have already got the agreement, we do our part. How many cases, I can't tell you, maybe 10, maybe 50, maybe 100, maybe 2. But we try to bring a position that it can be reached by those of you who need, who want, and can do. Thank you very much. and we'll see you next week. We might have a surprise for you next week, and we'll see how it goes. Thank you very much, Vic.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Guest. You always have surprises for us, so we look forward to it.
Let's see what happens.
Okay, this has been the 469th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And thank you everyone for attending. Thank you for your questions and comments. And our next public teaching workshop will be on Tuesday. I think it's the 31st. Let me have a look at that first. Yes, coming up Tuesday, January 31st with the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace and Justice, which starts at the 4 p.m. Central European Time. Okay, I think that's it for now. And we'll go out with our Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit video with the music version. And thanks again, everyone, for being here. And of course, a big thanks to Mr. Kesh for always being here. Okay, bye for now.